Traveling after 70 can be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. New sights, fresh memories, and well-earned comfort. But let's be honest, it's not all smooth sailing. As we age, certain hidden risks start to emerge. Risks that younger travelers don't often face. So before you pack your bags, ask yourself, are you really ready? Do you know what kind of scams happen with seniors? What about insurance loopholes that could cost you thousands? And could a simple mistake at the airport leave you stranded? In this video, we reveal 10 hidden dangers of traveling after 70 that most people don't talk about, but absolutely should. 1. Physical demands. While age doesn't have to limit your ability to see the world, it does require more strategic planning. Seniors over 70 may still feel youthful and adventurous, but the reality is that physical endurance and bodily responses to travel inevitably change with time. What once felt like a minor inconvenience, a cramped 12-hour flight, or a full day of sightseeing, can now present legitimate health risks. One of the most serious concerns is deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Long-haul flights force travelers into tight seating with minimal legroom, restricting blood flow and raising the likelihood of clots forming in the legs. For older adults, this condition is particularly dangerous as circulation issues become more common with age. Destinations that seem picturesque on postcards, like the cobblestone streets of Paris or the uneven stone steps of Santorini, can be treacherous. Navigating them requires balance, core strength, and agility, all of which can be diminished in older travelers. The lack of elevators in charming boutique hotels or multi-story lodgings in historic towns only adds to the strain, putting additional pressure on knees, hips, and backs. What you can do: avoid trying to cram in everything. Schedule rest days between heavy sightseeing days to allow your body to recover. Choose accommodations wisely. Prioritize hotels with elevators, accessible entrances, and good reviews for comfort. Travel at a slower pace. Instead of sprinting through 5 cities in 10 days, spend quality time exploring 1 or 2. Upgrade when possible. Premium economy or business class seats provide extra space, better ergonomics, and less physical strain. A 79-year-old frequent traveler summed it up beautifully. "I used to treat travel like a race. Now I treat it like a retreat. I go slow and soak it in." Second, medical vulnerabilities. Even seniors in great shape are more medically vulnerable than younger travelers. Age-related conditions, slower immune response, and the potential for sudden health complications make this an important area to prepare for. Not all countries offer the same level of medical care. In developing regions, equipment and staff might not be adequate to handle emergencies like strokes, heart attacks, or broken bones. Even in more developed nations, navigating a foreign healthcare system can be difficult, especially if there's a language barrier. Consider this: if you suffer a serious allergic reaction in rural Thailand or develop chest pains in remote Peru, will you know where to go, who to call, or whether your insurance will cover the treatment? Often, the answer is no. Another overlooked risk is medication availability. Some medications commonly prescribed in the US are restricted or banned in other countries. If your checked luggage is lost and your vital prescriptions are inside, it can become a dire situation. What you can do: get a pre-trip medical evaluation. Visit your doctor and get a detailed summary of your current medications, conditions, and health status. Carry medications in your carry-on. Always keep essential medications with you on the plane. Research healthcare availability. Know where the nearest hospital or clinic is and whether they have English-speaking staff. Invest in senior-specific travel insurance. Look for policies that cover pre-existing conditions and include emergency evacuation. 3. Cognitive fatigue. Cognitive sharpness can decline subtly with age, especially under stress. Travel, though exciting, places constant demands on decision-making, memory, and focus. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. Navigating airport security, deciphering public transportation systems in foreign languages, and adjusting to time zone changes can challenge even the sharpest minds. For seniors, especially those prone to memory issues or confusion, the mental fatigue can set in fast. This mental weariness can lead to errors, like getting on the wrong train, forgetting important items, or falling for scams. It also increases anxiety, which can diminish the enjoyment of the trip. Build in downtime. Avoid scheduling back-to-back excursions. Your brain needs rest just like your body. Use technology as a helper. Download easy-to-use apps for translation, maps, and local transportation. Print hard copies of key information. Don't rely solely on your phone. Paper copies of directions, tickets, and hotel reservations are essential backups. Stick to routines when possible. Eating meals and sleeping at consistent times can reduce disorientation. An 80-year-old traveler told us, "I treat travel days like work days. I get up early, eat well, and keep my schedule light so I don't feel rushed or confused." 4. Psychological disorientation. Travel breaks routines. For many seniors, this sudden lack of structure can cause anxiety or even mild disorientation. Being surrounded by unfamiliar languages, customs, and foods can create a sense of cultural isolation. One senior traveler described checking into a hotel in Vietnam where the staff didn't speak English. "Even ordering dinner was a challenge. It made me feel helpless," she said. This sense of discomfort often leads older travelers to withdraw, spending more time alone in hotel rooms instead of exploring. Over time, this can diminish the sense of adventure and purpose that travel should bring. Stay socially connected. Use video calls or messaging apps to check in with friends and family regularly. Learn key local phrases. Knowing how to say hello, thank you, and help can go a long way. Stay in one place longer. Settling into one city for a week, rather than hopping between destinations, gives you time to adjust and feel more at home. Choose familiar cultures for first-time trips. Western Europe or English-speaking countries can be easier for seniors new to international travel. 5. Criminal targeting. Seniors are increasingly becoming targets for petty crime while traveling, and it's often due to one simple fact: they're perceived as more vulnerable. In busy tourist destinations, thieves and scammers keep a watchful eye out for those who appear slow, disoriented, or distracted. Unfortunately, this often includes older travelers who may walk cautiously, stop to check directions, or look confused when using public transport systems. The results can be both financially and emotionally devastating. Take, for example, an elderly couple visiting Barcelona. They recounted how a young man approached them at a metro station offering help with the ticket machine. He seemed polite, well-dressed, and genuinely helpful. It wasn't until much later that they realized their wallet was missing. It had been subtly lifted during their conversation, right under their noses. Incidents like these are far from rare. They happen across popular European cities like Rome, Paris, and Prague, and in major urban centers around the world. Senior tourists are not only vulnerable to pickpockets, but also to scams by taxi drivers who charge inflated rates, street vendors selling fake merchandise, or even rogue tour guides who ask for cash up front and never show up. Criminals often assume that older travelers are less likely to physically resist, notice the theft in time, or report the crime due to language barriers or fear of further complications. The appearance of naivety, or simply not being from the area, becomes an open invitation for opportunists. The good news is that seniors can take very effective steps to minimize their risk. First and foremost, situational awareness is essential. This doesn't mean walking around in fear. It means walking with purpose, keeping your head up, and staying alert. Even if you're unsure of your location, don't let it show. Appearing confident can discourage scammers from approaching. Secondly, using anti-theft travel gear can make a big difference. Crossbody bags with slash-resistant straps, hidden money belts worn under clothing, and wallets that block RFID signals all offer extra protection. Thieves tend to avoid difficult targets. If it looks like they'll have to struggle to get at your valuables, they're more likely to move on to someone else. Another crucial tactic is learning about common scams in your destination before you arrive. A simple internet search for tourist scams in city name can open your eyes to popular tricks like fake petitions, distraction methods, or counterfeit ticket sellers. Forewarned is forearmed. Traveling at night requires extra caution. If you're unfamiliar with the area, avoid walking alone. Group tours or taxis from hotel lobbies are far safer options than wandering into poorly lit alleys or unfamiliar streets. If you do get lost or feel unsure, head into the nearest hotel, any hotel, and ask the front desk for help. As one 76-year-old traveler wisely said, "My wife and I have a rule. If we get lost, we walk into the nearest hotel and ask for help. It feels safer and more controlled." It's simple advice, but it's saved many seniors from difficult or dangerous situations. 6. Travel insurance gaps. Travel insurance is one of those topics that many people, especially seniors, assume is already taken care of. It's easy to believe that your existing health coverage, whether through Medicare or a private plan, will protect you abroad. Unfortunately, this assumption has left many older travelers facing overwhelming medical bills, denied claims, and ruined trips. After the age of 70, most insurance providers begin imposing stricter limitations on coverage, especially when it comes to international emergencies. Pre-existing conditions, which are more common with age, are often used as grounds to reject claims. Even something as ordinary as high blood pressure or a previous fracture could be labeled as pre-existing, resulting in denied reimbursement when something goes wrong. Imagine needing emergency medical evacuation due to a stroke or heart attack while on vacation. The cost to be airlifted to a hospital with proper facilities or flown home for care can easily exceed $50,000. In some cases, it can reach $100,000 or more. If you're relying solely on domestic insurance or credit card perks, you may find out too late that none of it applies overseas. Even less dramatic issues can turn expensive. A simple hospital visit for a broken wrist in Japan or Australia could cost thousands. And some countries require payment up front before you're even treated. A 73-year-old traveler shared her experience in Portugal. She fractured her hip while sightseeing, but her insurance company refused to pay for her return flight, calling it a pre-existing bone condition. She had to borrow $20,000 from family members to afford medical transport back to the U.S. So how can seniors protect themselves from falling into these financial traps? First, take the time to scrutinize your current health policy. Call your insurer directly and ask detailed questions like, "Am I covered outside the country? Are there age restrictions? What qualifies as a pre-existing condition?" Many travelers don't realize that Medicare, and even some Medicare Advantage plans, offer little or no international coverage, except in specific border situations like brief visits to Canada or Mexico. Once you know what's not covered, look into purchasing senior-specific travel insurance. Companies like Allianz, GeoBlue, and Travelex offer plans tailored to older travelers, often including provisions for chronic health conditions, emergency medical care, and even trip cancellation due to health concerns. For those with unpredictable medical needs, it's worth considering policies that offer cancel for any reason (CFAR) coverage. This type of protection lets you cancel your trip for nearly any reason and still recover part of the cost, ideal if a last-minute illness or injury forces you to stay home. Also, make sure your chosen insurance includes 3 critical services: medical evacuation, repatriation of remains, and 24/7 multilingual support. Medical evacuation coverage ensures you'll be taken to the nearest hospital equipped to handle your situation, or even flown back home, if necessary. Repatriation coverage may sound grim, but in worst-case scenarios, it removes a significant financial burden from your family. Finally, a 24-hour helpline that speaks your language is essential for managing medical emergencies in unfamiliar settings. Travel insurance might seem like an extra expense, but for seniors, it's not optional. It's essential. A well-designed policy can mean the difference between a manageable emergency and life-altering debt. When you factor in age, health conditions, and the realities of international care, skipping insurance is simply not worth the risk. 7. Jet lag and sleep disruption. Jet lag isn't just fatigue. It's a biological disruption that worsens with age. Older adults produce less melatonin, the sleep hormone, and often have lighter sleep cycles, making it harder to adjust to new time zones. Combine this with airplane noise, uncomfortable hotel beds, and unfamiliar nighttime sounds, and many seniors end up exhausted and disoriented for days. Poor sleep weakens immunity, increasing the risk of catching colds or infections while traveling. It also impairs balance and judgment, raising the chance of falls or accidents. What you can do: 3 to 4 days before flying, gradually shift your bedtime 1 to 2 hours closer to your destination's schedule. Use light therapy, expose yourself to sunlight in the morning if traveling west, or evening if traveling east. Avoid alcohol and caffeine. They dehydrate you and disrupt sleep. Set your watch to the destination time as soon as you board, and align meals, sleep accordingly. Noise-canceling headphones for hotel noise or snoring roommates. A travel-sized white noise machine helps mask unfamiliar sounds. Your own pillowcase, familiar smells improve sleep quality. 8. Limited accessibility. Traveling as a senior often involves navigating cities and destinations that are not designed with older adults in mind. Many historic or underdeveloped locations lack essential features like elevators, ramps, or flat sidewalks. For younger travelers, climbing a staircase or walking a few extra blocks might be easy. But for seniors, these minor inconveniences can become insurmountable. Uneven cobblestone streets and cracked sidewalks present a major hazard for those with balance or mobility issues. Even more troubling are old buildings, such as hotels or museums, that still have staircases without handrails or elevators. Getting onto public transportation can also be a challenge. High steps into buses or boats require agility that many older adults no longer have. At crowded attractions and transport hubs, seating is often limited or completely unavailable, leaving seniors without a place to rest. One 79-year-old traveler who visited Venice shared how the city's charm was lost behind its physical barriers. The numerous bridges with steep steps made it nearly impossible for her to move around without assistance, eventually forcing her to pay extra for water taxis. Travelers can reduce these risks by doing research ahead of time. Calling hotels directly and asking specific questions about elevators, walk-in showers, or rooms on the ground floor can prevent unpleasant surprises. Seniors should also consider temporary mobility aids, even if they don't normally use them. A rented wheelchair for airport navigation or a collapsible cane for outdoor walks can make a huge difference. Finally, booking tours that are explicitly tailored for older travelers can ease the journey. Look for terms like leisurely paced, frequent rest stops, or air-conditioned vehicles to ensure the trip is manageable and comfortable. 9. Nutrition and hydration. Staying healthy on the road. Older adults face increased risks of dehydration and digestive problems while traveling due to factors like dry airplane air, time zone changes, and unpredictable meal schedules. For seniors, staying hydrated isn't just about comfort. It's a critical health issue. Dehydration can cause dizziness, fatigue, confusion, and, in serious cases, hospitalization. Similarly, a sudden change in diet can lead to constipation, bloating, or stomach pain. Eating unfamiliar or poorly prepared foods increases the chance of foodborne illness. For seniors managing chronic health conditions, missing meals or medication doses because of travel interruptions can be dangerous. A retired nurse shared how during a cruise, an older man collapsed from low blood sugar after skipping lunch during an excursion. It served as a wake-up call to many in the group. Seniors should aim to drink water regularly, especially when flying or walking in hot or humid climates. A good rule of thumb is at least 1 glass of water per hour in those conditions. Adding electrolyte packets like liquid IV to a water bottle can help replace lost minerals. To avoid stomach issues, seniors should follow the well-known advice: boil it, cook it, peel it, or forget it, especially when eating in places where food safety standards may be questionable. Carrying healthy, portable snacks like protein bars, mixed nuts, or dried fruit can help maintain energy levels when proper meals are delayed or unavailable. Managing medications also becomes more complex while traveling. A pill organizer with built-in alarms can help seniors stay on schedule, even across different time zones. It's also smart to pack extra doses of medication in case of delays or lost luggage. For those with critical prescriptions, Carrying a doctor's note and copies of prescriptions can ease any trouble with customs or pharmacies abroad. 10. Technology dependence. What if your phone fails? Modern travel is heavily reliant on smartphones, but for seniors, this dependence can turn into a serious vulnerability. Boarding passes, hotel bookings, translation apps, maps, and ride shares all live inside a device that can fail at the worst possible moment. If the battery dies, Wi-Fi fails, or the phone gets stolen, a traveler may find themselves stranded without directions, contact numbers, or even access to their hotel. Real incidents highlight the risks. A 76-year-old couple found themselves unable to leave a Paris train station because their Uber app wouldn't accept their credit card. Another traveler in Tokyo couldn't find his hotel because the address and directions were stored only on his phone, which had no signal. To avoid these issues, seniors should always prepare low-tech backups. Print copies of critical travel information, including hotel reservations, flight details, and emergency contacts such as family, embassy numbers, and travel insurance. Carrying a small paper map of the destination can be a lifesaver when GPS fails. Tech should be used wisely by downloading offline versions of Google Maps before leaving home and installing communication apps like WhatsApp or Skype, which allow for free calling over Wi-Fi. Seniors should also have a plan in case their phone breaks or is lost. Carrying a second, older unlocked phone with a local SIM card or keeping it as a backup can restore communication quickly. Final thoughts. Travel after 70 isn't just possible. It can be deeply rewarding. But it also demands thoughtful planning and a willingness to adapt. The physical demands are real, the medical stakes are higher, and the emotional landscape is more complex than it once was. Yet with the right strategies, seniors can turn potential dangers into manageable challenges. Seniors today are redefining what it means to age. Many are setting off on new adventures, from safaris in Africa to river cruises through Europe, proving that the golden years can be just as vibrant as any other stage of life. Being proactive about health, mobility, security, and mental well-being is the key. As one 81-year-old traveler noted, "I may not move as fast as I used to, but the world moves at my pace when I plan it right." Every journey holds the promise of wonder. Just be sure to prepare wisely so that adventure doesn't come with unnecessary risks.